Okay, well, this vehicle clearly has bad steering after doing just under 50,000 miles. The reason why I say this is because I can turn the steering wheel considerably before the car responds. You know, I get this in a lot of cars. It's warm bushes, maybe even a steering box, and it's after 50,000 miles. I wouldn't expect a Mercedes to be behaving like this, so it's quite disappointing. Now, the general stability of the car while you're driving along, if you give the car a bit of a shake with the steering wheel, you do not have much roll, but the car seems to meander, sort of snake a bit, and it almost feels articulated. That's a bit of a concern if I was to do an emergency stop. So if you're thinking about buying one of these, clearly it's going to be second hand. Have a look at the steering, take it for a drive, see if you've got any play in the steering. If you have, it's either going to be bushes or a steering box. If it's a steering box, that's a messy and expensive job. Now, as I said earlier on, the side mirrors in my mind are too small. There's no point in having small mirrors. The center console, nicely laid out, very basic, but we like that because we want to be able to operate all this stuff without taking our eyes off the road. So that is a pass. That's very good. Instrument cluster, very clear, very precise, not obstructed by the steering wheel. The only thing that is a bit awful is this fake wood facade. Right, we're doing 0 to 60 test. And that's 60. You know, it amazes me with Mercedes. The more I drive them, the more I realise that they have a lot of similarities between Jaguars, and I say that because Jaguars are either really good or they're really awful. And with Mercedes, you either get a beautiful, serene car that drives beautifully, or you get some old horse that you know is just going to keep on going for 30 years and still be around, but it just doesn't have that finesse that the other cars do. Something a bit like one of these old Moroccan taxis. Now, the interior of the car is leather trim, but it looks tired, looks a bit nasty. There's a bit too much plastic going on in here for a Mercedes, to be fair. The actual ride itself is pretty good. This is where Mercedes obviously comes into its own, because I'm going along now 50 miles an hour and the ride's beautiful. The transition through the gears is great. You know, the car's taking the bumps in the road nice. It's going around the corners well. The brakes are very powerful, smooth and balanced, and I can apply a gradual pressure so there's no grabbing of the discs. You can feel all calipers working beautifully in synchronization. But what this car lacks is this car lacks luxury. It lacks prestige. It's basically what I would describe this car as. It's just a Mondeo that's been better put together. There's not a lot of difference at the end of the day. If you're thinking about buying one of these particular cars, I would urge you to shop around with Mercedes, because there's better Mercedes out there. This is not a good one. And if you are prepared to buy one and you are prepared to test a few cars, keep testing, because you will come across one car, and it's like the Alfa and Omega, it's just leagues ahead. They do vary considerably, Mercedes, and when you do get a good one, you know about it, because they'll put a smile on your face and you'll have the most comfortable and beautiful driving experience you can have. So be vigilant with the Mercedes. Don't think just because it's the Mercedes badge it's going to be good, because it doesn't work that way.